So, since I'm such a huge fan of both the Warriors and the Fire Emblem franchise, I decided why not do a video on this. Welcome to the Fire Emblem Warriors, information and theories video. I'm your host as always, Jedi Supersonic. Now, yesterday was a pretty big day. We got the Switch announcement, but the thing that caught my eye most, other than Shin Megami Tensei and Mario Adventure, haha, and, Zelda Breath of the Wild, was we got Fire Emblem Warriors. Now, ever since Zelda, Legend of Zelda got a Warriors game, we were all thinking in the back of our minds, I wonder if Fire Emblem might get this, and lo and behold, we have that now. And we're going to get more information on that on the 18th of this month. It's kind of amazing, although it might be more on mobile or a new game, but I'm thinking Warriors. But anyways, let's go over what we know. The trailer showed mostly the Shield of Seals, the 5 gems, all with a corresponding weapon inside them, the Regento for Ryoma, the Siegfried for Xander, the Yato for Corrin, 3 Fates characters right there. We have, Chrom's Falchion, and we have Marth's Falchion, although some people have said that looks more like Tearfring for Sigurd from FE4, but I think it's more Marth. And then we saw, Chrom pick up the sword. So, yeah, so we basically have a set of 5 characters already. Matt Mercer's already going to be doing double time. But I decided, let's have a discussion about this. I have some theories and some thoughts because I really like both series. As I said before, I've been playing Dynasty Warriors since Dynasty Warriors 2. I've been playing Fire Emblem since Fire Emblem 7, or, just Fire Emblem or Fire Emblem Blazing Sword if you prefer, after I play Smash Bros. Melee. So I figured I'd open this up and then we'd go for it. Have more, comments and, I have my thread, so I can just post that. And you can just look at that in the description below. Now, I'll just be listing points I think of and what I think of that. So, without further ado, I think the Outrealms will be used as a central plot device because, the Outrealms were introduced in Fire Emblem Awakening. You were able to go to past Fire Emblem maps, fight past people like, Ike, Roy, all of them were there. We also had the Deep Realms introduced in Fates, although that wasn't received nearly as well. I think people don't really like that concept in general. But I think the Outrealms will be, where this will take place. I think the game will use a support system or the pair-up system. Warriors Orochi for the PS2 and later PS3 and other systems would expand on its warrior system by having you able to switch between 3 people. You'd have 3 people on the fly, and you could just switch easily between them. Fire Emblem works in pairs, more like, so I was thinking they'll do it with a duo. The passive one in the duo giving, bonuses to the other person, with support points, or just, elemental power or speed. We could bring back the elemental affinities from the GBA and GameCube and Wii Fire Emblems if we really wanted to go in depth in that. I'm guessing characters will have certain affinities with other characters depending on how much they like them or if they get along or stuff like that, or you could probably just spam supports, make them all good with each other, and maybe bring in support combos because everybody loves those even if they're cheesy. I think the level up system won't be like Hyrule Warriors because Hyrule Warriors had a ridiculous scale of up to level 255 after all the DLC was added. And people weren't that big of fans of that. So I'm thinking we're going to go with traditional style Fire Emblem levels. We'll go to level 20, we'll promote, do 20 again. And when you get that promotion, you'll get more costumes, maybe a weapon type or something, just flair. I'm thinking around 70 to 80% of the cast will be from Fates and Awakening because, and FE3. These 3 games kind of encompass the most popular games in the franchise. So, while that is probably true, don't be discouraged. We are probably going to get at least a decent number from the other games too. And speaking of character amounts, I'm not sure of a roster number, but I want to say that the base game is going to have around the amount Hyrule Warriors ended at. But it could be less than that, it could be more than that. I'm pretty sure DLC will be down the line, whatever out of the three, though. I think using Hyrule Warriors roster count as a base is a good idea, though, in terms of expectations. Don't expect too many, don't expect too few, basically. I'm thinking there will be an original character, and I'm thinking they'll go with their own original avatar, because Koei is not unfamiliar with the create a character system. They have created an officer quite a bit in their Warriors games, especially like Dynasty and Samurai. So I'd expect like some new original character that you can customize. I don't know if they'll be voiced or anything, but there you go. You'll have your own main avatar and you'll fight alongside other Fire Emblem characters. Although a main draw of this is us fighting as our favorite Fire Emblem characters. So I don't know for sure if that's going to be a thing. But Hyrule Warriors gave us Sia and Lana and Lenkel. So expect maybe one or two original characters. I know that wouldn't be popular among the fan base, but I'm just saying it's a possibility. Now, Hyrule Warriors had something, the adventure maps where you could go around, you had specific game type based maps and you had challenges and stuff and to get people's weapons. I was thinking they might do something like that with Fire Emblem, but instead of that, they do more like tactical, like actual Fire Emblem style maps. Your units would be the playable characters and you'd move them against other enemy units, and when you hit attack, you'd go into like a warrior style fight instead of, just your ×2 hits with Fire Emblem, or your ×4s with Brave weapons, or whatever. I felt that would be very cool. They could also take the Empires concept from the Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors Empires games, where you basically try to conquer the entire realm against various CPUs, or it could become online at this point with other players, just playing a Warriors game, because Dynasty Warriors Online did stuff like that, and that was actually pretty fun. All 6 Smash Fire Emblem characters will likely be in the roster. That's probably, easily said, but I figured I have to mention it anyways, that I think that, Marth, Ike, Robin, Lucina, Roy, Corrin. And Corrin's pretty much soft confirmed anyways, because, we saw the Yato in the opening teaser. The old archetypes of the fan base will likely be shown, or at least used somewhat. The Jagan, the Est, the Christmas Cavaliers, the Camus, the Gato, all that. And if you're unfamiliar, the Jagan's basically your starting promoted character. The Est is your late weak unit who can become strong. Christmas Cavaliers are like your Cain Abels, Kent Sains, Kieran Oscars, etc. Or, Awakening, I should probably mention that because you probably more likely to know Awakening's Sully and, Stall, because, you gotta stall for time. But anyways, the Camus, which, is your strong opponent who's really honorable, like, him, Eldegain. With the Black Knight count, Radiant Dawn, maybe. But yeah, characters like that. And the Gato is basically your late game unit, or your super late game unit, the young, like the last map, like Athos from FE7. Foraging in My Castle will likely be 2 features used in this game. The Warriors series is no stranger to a foraging system to make your weapons super ridiculously overpowered. And Warriors ROT3 introduced a base system where you could walk around base, talk to people, get support points up with other people, buy weapons, start missions, that kind of thing. So I think My Castle will be coming back in this feature. I like to hope this isn't like quite plausible theory, but it's something I'd want to see. I hope there's at least one character per class. Like, your traditional classes, like, your swordmaster, your sniper, your what have you, your bow knights, your paladins, your great knights, that stuff. Crom, Marth, or the original character I mentioned earlier will be the main focus of the game, the star, the de facto lead. And since Crom is so prominently shown in said teaser, I think it might actually be him. But so they'll get the most weapons, the most, supports, the most everything, costumes. Will Crom finally get his chance? Well, we'll see. Hopefully they don't kind of mess over his character. Project X Zone 2 wasn't too kind to his character, even though he was actually in that full on. Although, Tokyo Mirage Sessions did have a pretty cool Crom, and I hope that actually makes it in as a costume, because that was pretty just cool. The next point. The Black Knight, Hardened, Camus, or some other really powerful enemy will become the Lu Bu of the game. And Lu Bu is basically a historically really powerful general. He was almost unstoppable in fights. And in Dynasty Warriors, he's usually, you need to be really overpowered to even be able to try to take him down. And when he's in your control, he's ridiculously overpowered and really fun to just blow everything up with. I think the Black Knight's probably the best candidate for this position. Although Wall Heart from Awakening could work, I guess. I could see people who like either or. I'd say expect the unexpected. Koei is not always traditional in their character choices, although I would say expect Tharja and Camilla for sure, because fan service and Team Ninja is confirmed to be helping work on this game. So yeah, Tharja and Camilla pretty much, I think, are confirmed. But that's just me being, that's not optimism, that's more, they have to. But I'd expect some weird characters, like Hyrule Warriors picked characters like Rudo or, Tingle, although Tingle's not too weird because, well, Japan loves Tingle, so. Or yeah, Agatha is the weird one I should probably have mentioned. Yeah, Agatha. So we might see something weird. We might see like Merlinus, the tent guy from Fire Emblem 7 and the carriage guy from Fire Emblem 6. We might see something really funny, like we have a really weak thief like Kath or something as the joke character who can become super powerful for no reason. I'm thinking maps will likely be based on like popular Fire Emblem maps, like Marth's first map. You have the map where Ike is defending the fort after he becomes the leader of the Griot mercenaries. You have the final battle. The final battle of Barhara in Gen 1 of Fire Emblem 4. You have the battle on Graham is back in Awakening in the Arena Ferox. Is that how you say it? Stuff and Fates probably have that field where, Realm and Xander were fighting. Stuff like that. I think there will be quite a few alternate costumes. Marth can have his FE1 look, pantless Marth, which would be hilarious. Because Hyrule Warriors gave Link tons of costumes, so I expect kind of a similar thing with this. Maybe take from the Cypher card art or the FE13 DLC art. Although, I know a lot of people won't be happy with some of those making it in, but other ones would be like, yes, put those in, please! Yeah, Ryoma I see also getting like a Sumeragi costume, his dad. Because that would be an easy palette swap, because that's the weird thing with Koei, they either do like all-out costume switches, or they do like really simple palette swaps, but they also reference at the same time, like Darunia and Hyrule Warriors had like a... Oh, what's the Goron's name in Majora's Mask? I can't think of it right now. They have basically a ghostly kind of look for him that's kind of like the ghost of that Goron that you make into the Goron mask after you heal his soul. And I believe the weapon triangle will be coming back into this game because, Fire Emblem, Fire Emblem, yeah, it does it. Dynasty Warriors has actually used the concept in Dynasty Warriors 8 where you had the Earth, Heaven, and Man weapons, and you had to switch or else you'd get pretty much pummeled to the ground. Because if you were at a disadvantage, you had no hit stun on that enemy, and they kind of just comboed you to death. Meanwhile, if you had the advantage of weapon, you'd like do tons of damage, do a mini combo, and you do like a small super attack. Overall, I think the story of the game is going to be very cheesy or very like over the top and stupid, or it's just going to be really bad in a laughable way to the point where we're just going to laugh at all the memes and just have fun with the character interactions. Koei isn't known for the best storytelling unless it's like Dynasty Warriors 7 or 8, and that's debatable too, although I like Dynasty Warriors 7's take on the whole history aspect. I'm not expecting Shakespeare, and none of us should be. But if it's a better story than Fate's turned out to be, I will laugh really hard. But, you know, that'll be kind of funny. But anyways, so I just figured I'd open this up. Now, if you like, you know, if you want to do your comments, do you like any of the ideas? Do you have any of your own? Like, theories and stuff. We'll see more on the 18th, I'm pretty sure. Unless they decide to focus all on Fire Emblem Mobile or a new game that's not Warriors. But, I don't see them teasing that and then not following up with it. So, you know, ball's in your guys' court now. You can check my thread on Serene's in the description below. You can comment on the video, and I'll be doing this over the course of Fire Emblem Warriors like development and news cycles. So if you like this, you can subscribe. I do like Let's Play videos usually, but in this case I decided I'm so into the concept of Fire Emblem Warriors, I really want to be one of the guys that's just, you know, showing you the news, giving you like ideas that what might happen and all that. So with that, I will, you know, see you on the 18th or the 19th, depending on my schedule. But yeah, it's gonna be good, guys. It's gonna be pretty good. Koei Tecmo knows what they're doing. So with that, I leave the comment section open to you. I will try to reply to you. And well, that's that. Till next time, Jai Supersonic signing out.